obviously having an argument about some other aspects of the bill.
And that's just the left talking. As you know, Republicans are not so happy about this so-called compromise either, and for good reason. And tonight, I'm happy to be joined in studio by one of them. Congressman Steve King of Iowa is here. Congressman, welcome to the program. Good to see you in New York. How are you?
Thank you, Sean. It's good to be here.
I can't get a straight answer. I was on the radio today talking about this and reading from the AP article about the ethanol subsidies, about $55 million supposedly in the Senate version. And then I got a note from Mitch McConnell's office saying, no, that's not going to be in there. Is it in there or not in there?
I don't have any way of telling. I mean, this is a movable thing tonight. It looks, I'm going to suspect that it is in there because they've reported it, but I've not read the language, Sean. So we'll have to see if that's in. We've got, of course, the extension of these brackets, all of them for 2 years. I say that's not enough. Mm-hmm. If you're investment capital and you've got a 2-year return on investment business plan, you've already invested that money. But otherwise, most of these are 5, 10, or 15 years, more likely 15-year investment returns. So I want to see this permanent. Yeah. I want to make sure we play the best cards we can.
Is that your biggest argument against the fact that business can't decide where to go with a temporary economy? Is that your biggest argument against it? My biggest concern, I'll take this because Obama said he's going to run on this, and Axelrod confirmed this. This is going to be his issue in 2012, and I think that may be a healthy debate for the country. They want to raise taxes, and the Republican Party, the conservative movement, wants to keep the tax base low. So my biggest concern is the $200 billion in new spending.
We have that. We have the transfer payments that are in part of that, the unemployment at $54 to $56 billion. We have had unemployment that's 26 weeks. Now it's 99 under Pelosi. And we find out that most of the people will get a job at about the time the unemployment runs out. You've got $40 billion worth of refundable tax credits. That goes to people that aren't paying taxes. So we're almost $100 billion there if you add that piece to it.
Wait, so you're saying that statistics show that when people know their unemployment's running out, they run out and get a job?
That's what happens, Sean. And in about 15 weeks of unemployment, they will spend about 20 minutes a day. And as their employment goes to 26 weeks, and that's when it runs out at 26 weeks, they spend 70 minutes a day.
Well, wait a minute, but we have two extensions.
We have.
So basically, you can go for about 2 years now. This will, correct me if I'm wrong, this will extend it out to a third year.
As I understand this is 99 cumulative, and then it rolls for the next group. But I haven't, again, got my hands on the language, and that's another argument that we ought to have, and that is this language that seems to be movable, that in the Senate, we need 72 hours to read the bill. Yeah. That's something that we...
Well, John Boehner has asked for that, and I think he ought to... That's standard operating procedure. Yeah. We've been down this road before. You have to pass the bill to know what's in the bill. That's Nancy Pelosi's house, and I think, you know, even though this is a lame duck and she's still Speaker, I don't think it's fair for the American people. What do we know in terms of 54 Democrats now writing this letter to Pelosi? What do the numbers show? Are the Democrats going to end up killing this thing?
I would think that all the Democrats that oppose this negotiated settlement between apparently Mitch McConnell and President Obama didn't sign the letter. I think that number is larger than 54 because to walk that around and get that many signatures is a pretty difficult thing to do. And if they are putting Christmas tree ornaments on this bill over in the Senate, as we're pretty confident they have, and it goes over to the House side, if that's enough ornaments to buy more liberals, more progressives on that, they're going to lose more conservatives on the Republican side.
Why? So I guess the average person at home, maybe this is very naive in terms of the workings of Washington. Why can't we have a straight up or down vote on simple issues? Should we extend unemployment? Straight up or down vote, do we raise taxes at the end of the year? Straight up and down vote, do we eliminate the estate tax? I know that's not the way Washington works, but I think a lot of people like myself, you know, watch the way the process works. You have to buy votes. Ostensibly, in my mind, it's the moral equivalency of blackmail.
Yes.
Or bribery would be a better word. Why can't we just have straight up and down votes on these things?
I'm hopeful that under Speaker Boehner, these kind of things will start to happen. These nice, clear, standalone pieces of legislation can come along. And my preference would be to take all of these tax brackets that expire at midnight when the ball drops here in this city on December 31st. I would want to take all of them and set them up and make them all permanent just as they are. And I'll vote for something like that.
What if this is not done by the end of the year? The new Congress will be sworn in on January 5th. The issue could be taken up. It could be made retroactive going back to the start of the year. Would it be better to wait till then? In other words, rather than take a bill with spending that you don't want and things that you don't want in the bill, would it be better to wait?
I think it's better for extending all the tax brackets. The problem I have, and it's a moral conundrum, is that if you see estate taxes that kick in and go from zero estate tax now to $1 million exemption in a 35% bracket, or what is really is hanging out there, excuse me, that's 5.
55%.
What happens with us, yes, is $1 million exemption at 55%. If that rolls over at the first of the year, there will be probably thousands of families around a deathbed making end-of-life decisions. Instead of their priest or their pastor and their doctor there, they'll be there too. The tax man looms over that bed.
Isn't that amazing that if you died last year, correct me if I'm wrong, it was 45%. Yeah. This year, if you die, 0%. Next year, it's scheduled to be 55%. Only Washington could think of this madness.
And some people will decide they don't want treatment, and others will, I mean, actually...
So you think people will decide not to have treatment at the end of this year and die so they don't have to pay taxes?
Absolutely. I hear those anecdotes now, Sean, and I'm not hearing enough discussion about it. That's the component of this tax discussion that bothers me the most, is what happens with the estate tax and what happens to the moral decisions that people have to make.
Congressman King, why do I think I'll be seeing you why do I think I'll be seeing a lot of you in the next 2 years?
Well, because one thing, we are going to repeal Obamacare and pull it out by the roots, lock, stock, and barrel.
I was thinking more of a presidential election in 2 years. Good to see you.
That's true, too.
Congressman, appreciate you being with us.
In Iowa.
Appreciate it.
Thanks,
and there's
John.
plenty more Hannity straight ahead.